those choices before going to special events. So that's why we're continuing to move forward with that. But just know from the city's perspective, we'll be putting out a lot of information about how to do that safely, and the expectation that our residents will take this public health crisis really, really seriously, and opt to use one of those choices. First and best is vaccination. If for some reason they can't do that, there is a strong expectation that those who, for whatever reason, cannot get vaccinated will choose to mask when they're in public places. We require indoors at city facilities and in crowded outdoor events. If I were a betting woman, I would definitely wear a mask if I were not vaccinated. Probably will wear a mask even though I am vaccinated. Just that caveat, because we are in a really serious time with COVID again. So since I have the mic and believe in it strongly, I will use that luxury to talk about it a little bit. So with that, let's go ahead and do introductions around the room. I'm Maria Waig, I'm the chair. I work within the Office of Community Engagement, which is in the Office of the Mayor here at the City of Boise. And let's start with ACHD and kind of go around this way.
Hi, Debbie White, Ada County Highway District.
John Wasson, Ada County Highway District.
Ed Graves, Public Works.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Sydney Murphy, City Risk Management.
Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec.
Jesse Tappert, Boise Fire Department.
Rachel Holford, City of Boise Emergency Management.
Dwight Kirkland, Boise Police Department.
I'm Jamie Heinzerling with the Boise City Clerk's Office, and we have Kelly Frank with the special event team as the coordinator with us as well.
And do we have any committee members on Zoom this morning?
This is Leslie Pedroza, the Operations Director with Valley Regional Transit.
And Lieutenant Mike Hill, Boise Police Department on as well.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. First applicant is the Hyde Park Street Fair. Really important event in our community. It's been happening for a long time. Excited to see you back and interested to hear how you've changed a few things up this year.
I'm the event coordinator for Gruntworks. We are contracted to run the Hyde Park Street Fair for the North End Neighborhood Association. I'm feeding back like crazy. We've been doing this for about 23 years. This will be the 41st Hyde Park Street Fair, scheduled for September 17th through the 19th in Hyde Park in Camelsback Park. We expect approximately 30,000 people will attend over the course of 2.5 days. Probably slightly lower this year since Boise State has a Saturday night home game, and that always affects our attendance. But we think we'll probably have a good selection of people coming out to visit us this year. We have done some changes to the fair. We haven't done any changes to the fair in quite a number of years, but when we had a year off, we decided that we would do a better design of the interior map of the fair, making it more concentric, easier to get electricity to the vendors that have paid for it, and maybe cutting down on some of the cables that seem to run everywhere in the park when we have power, making it a lot safer. This also has allowed us to make sure that all our aisles are going to be 20 feet wide, and we have additional spacing. You can tell by this, if this map is set up for the maximum that we could have in the park. We will not reach that even close to it this year, and we're going to make any enlargement in the fair will go in increments just to make sure that it all works. But if you notice on the top there, in the center section, the top square is one that we can shrink down to add more space to allow people to travel through. We're going to have a lot more open space this year. We will not have the Giraffe Laugh Kids area. It was decided quite early on that would just be too hard to try to do, and frankly, I'm sure it would not have been allowed anyway at this time. So that gives us more space. We will not put anything in that space this year. We're leaving it wide open. We're trying to create as much wide space as we possibly can. We've cut down the food court by one stick booth on the fair side of the court, which will allow a lot more space at the entrance from the fair into the food court. And all our food court is spaced out fairly well because these are all large trucks, except the stick booths, so we're going to spread those out even further. Most of our vendors are local this year. We had Very large reduction in the number of out-of-town commercial vendors because most of them aren't traveling. So all of the majority of our vendors are local, as are all our musicians on both stages. I don't think we have any other changes. We have a meeting set up with emergency preparedness for tomorrow, where we'll probably go over more of the scheduling and all of the other features for security. However, we're keeping everything as we have in previous years, with the streets on Heron all barricaded and manned from 9th to 13th. Plus, we'll have 2 entrances on 13th Street as well. And there are plenty of areas to bring in emergency vehicles if necessary, some very wide spots, both in the main part of the fair, at the food court, and then on Heron Street. And I'm prepared to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Carl. Really super fun event, and love the thoughtfulness of the changes that you're proposing. Let's start with ACHD.
No issues.
Yeah, good to see you again, Carl, in person. Hey.
Ed?
Yeah, we've already been in communication, so we're pretty much set. We're good.
Carl, good morning. How are you?
Good, Conrad.
Good. Hey, just want to confirm a couple items. First, we'll start with the trash boxes. Yes, you will be picking those up from Art in the Park?
That's correct.
Okay. And your crew will bring them back to Republic Services after the event? Okay, thank you. I saw on your notes that the park dumpsters are to be moved, which I remember. The part I don't remember is who does the moving.
I don't have the answer to that either. I believe the Parks Department has them moved, but I'm not sure. Summer, can you answer that?
We can move them down for you guys. Oh, I'm just kidding. We need you guys to move them down.
You need us to move them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll have Ted give you a map of how far down past the tennis courts we want.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. It's been 2 years and
Fair.
want to make sure we get it right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll continue to work on that. And just the one pickup on the dumpsters at the end of the fair, just one time emptied on each
Yeah.
of them. Okay, yeah, thank you, Carl. That's all I have.
Thank you.
We don't need anything on our end.
Parks is good. Thank you for your new map. I'm excited to see it happen.
Thanks for that, Carl. Jesse with Boise Fire Department. I see you got your permit already. How many food truck, do you have food trucks there?
We'll have total 13 food vendors. I believe only 10 of them are trucks.
10 of them are trucks. Okay, I'm going to send you a document. It's a food truck mobile permit. They have to get a fire inspection before they're able to operate. So I'm going to send that document to you. Just make sure they all get it. And then you said you had 2 stages, correct?
That's correct.
And what are the size of those stages?
The main stage is I believe 44 by 24. I don't have the exact figures. The second stage is community stage, and that is a stage truck.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. And then the tents, I assume most of these are 10 by 10 pop-ups.
Yes.
I noticed there's one that's bigger. What is the size of your largest tent that you're going to have?
What's your tent? 30 by 40?
30 by 40?
35. That's the,
Okay. And do you own that tent, or do you have a tent company put these up, or say that again? Okay. Okay. All righty. That's all I have. Thank you.
So we'll be at this, police will be at the safety security meeting tomorrow. So I'm sure we'll talk more, but other than that, I'll contact you on your email and get you a police contracts going
great.
for police services.
Hello, Carl. How are you? Always, always a wonderfully run event. So thank you so much. And I know we've already been in contact. So very, very appreciative of the legwork you've already done. So really have no questions that we won't go through tomorrow, just looking at the footprint, making sure that we all understand the ingress egress routes, and we should be good to go. So thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good morning, Carl. Great to see you. With the mask, I didn't recognize you earlier. So hello.
Hello.
I have nothing from our end. Kelly, do you have any additional details you're waiting for?
No details. I think I haven't looked at your vendor list yet, but thank you for getting that over. If I have any questions, I'll let you know, but I'll be on the meeting tomorrow with safety and security too. So
Okay.
nice to see you again, and thank
Good to
you
see you
very
too.
much for all your
Thank you very
planning.
much.
Carl, that might be a record for the season so far. Thank you so much. You feel free to stay for the rest of the meeting or get on with your day, either way. Next up, the Old Boise October Fest. Beth.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see your eyes at least. We're here in a room.
I know it's not quite as good, but at least we're in each
It's
other's
better than
presence.
not. So we have some changes this year, with all the construction going on, that we won't be having the parking lot this year. So we're taking out the kids zone. There will be no kids zone this year. We just don't have the space for it because we're doing the Bass Block and then 6th Street. And we're kind of put our stage like catty cornered, and we'll have fencing around it, and everything else is pretty much the same.
All right, Beth, can you just go ahead and give us an overview of the date and the time of the event, the purpose?
Oh,
who
yeah, sorry.
participates?
It
We have a
is
lot of new people, so
September.
that's very helpful.
Yeah, it's September 18th. and We're going to run from 3 until 9:30 at night. We're going to shut the streets down starting at 11. And the purpose of this is co-op advertising. All the Old Boise tenants get together, we put this on, and then the percentage of that goes to advertising. Actually, it all goes to advertising. And we do it as a group. And it really helps bring people down to our side of the street to know we're there. It's always been a great event. It's more 30 and over crowd. It's never been a lot for the teenagers or the kids. And this year, I know there is a football game as well, because we're on the same as the Hyde. And we figure that's going to affect attendance as well. But sorry, the smoke is just makes it hard to talk. I can't think of anything else. Does anybody have questions?
Go ahead and start with ACHD.
John Wasson, ACHD. We've got the application and the traffic control plan. It's a busy traffic control plan because of all the narrowing that has to take place north of the event because of 6th Street being a one-way street. So there's going to be a lot of signs out there. This is an incredibly busy weekend, especially with Oklahoma State, because I believe Oklahoma State travels fairly well. So we have the potential to be very busy downtown, in addition to the Potato Marathon, I believe, the Boise Philharmonic, and the market. So a lot of stuff taking place in a very small area. Oh, thank you, Debbie. And there's a little bit of construction in downtown Boise. So that always leads to the how many pounds of manure can you put in a 10-pound bag? And we are rapidly approaching maximum saturation down there. So it's going to be busy. We'll work on it and get the traffic control plan approved here in the next couple of weeks and get it out.
Thank you, John. Yeah, it's we are nearing September, which we knew was going to be really, really busy, and we're starting to see that. So we'll ask our community to be patient with us and ask our applicants to be patient with us as well.
Ed.
Hi, Beth.
Hi.
Yeah, we've already been talking on email. I did want to clarify just quickly while I have you here in person. So about the whole solo cups.
It's trash.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I wanted to make sure that I was explaining it correctly.
No,
over-
yeah, you
over
did.
Email, so.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, if they're, I can help you set up an energy bag collection, which we could at least recover that plastic instead of just trashing it. It would require, again, more effort on your part and your staff, but it's doable if you wanted to look into that.
I'd say now, no, because we're having, staffing is going to be huge. And we're not fully staffed yet. We are for their security, but not with the people in the event that's going to serve the beer, take the tickets and all of that. So we're still working on staffing up that.
Okay.
It's been tough this year.
Yeah, no, I
So,
understand.
yeah, we don't have the people to do it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll just get you whatever you need, of course. And
Okay.
yeah, I'll let you know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Beth, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for submitting your extra service request well in advance. I'm familiar with the extra dumps, but new this year, you mentioned having 2 additional 3 yards brought in, but you didn't know where those were going to go. Do you have that sorted out?
Not yet, not until I know what the construction on 6th Street is going to do.
Okay.
So right now, until I can figure that out, they just put that fence up on the street. They took those parking spaces and the alley's supposed to be under construction, so I'm not sure it's going to be open in time. So there's all kinds of factors. So it'll be like a last minute, okay, they're going to go here because we're not sure.
Okay. Well, we can get those in. Let's see, this is a Saturday event.
Yes.
We can get those in on Thursday at the latest
Okay.
before your Saturday event and have them delivered on Friday.
I'm not sure. We might back it down to 1 when it's all said and done. Because I know I can handle it to 1 for sure, but since we're getting everybody else's dumped as well in the alley, that I'll let you know sooner, closer to the event.
Okay, because I'd have to look at your email again, but we can dump everybody Friday and everybody on Monday
Yes.
as well, so.
Yeah. And then we're going to set that. I'm going to have that set up as
Okay.
well. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds
Thank-
good.
thank you.
Well, you know how to reach me
Yes.
when you need those extra
Okay.
extra 3 yards.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have, and the vendors are just going to be the reef and the shed, and they're supposed to submit their permits because they're on their setups and whatnot. Thank you.
Parks has nothing. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. We've been in communication a little bit already about the footprint. So if we can
Yeah.
get just a better footprint map, I don't care if it's even hand drawn, that would be good as well. Just so we can have a better idea of where things are exactly, because it's going to be pretty congested in this area,
Mhm.
especially with the relocation of the bounce houses. So it'll be good for our first in crews, and the fire marshal is requiring it.
No bounce houses.
No bounce houses?
No bounce houses.
Oh, okay.
We closed the kid zone altogether.
Close it
We're-
all together. Okay. I'm
We're not
sorry, I
having the
missed that.
kid zone at all.
Okay. Okay, good.
The only
Um,
tent we'll have is the beer tent, Hayden's 30 by 30 or 30 by 40 tent.
Yeah, that's near Main, right?
Yeah, it sits right in the intersection.
Okay, and then your stage, is it going to be in the middle of the intersection? Or is that going to be of Grove and,
I'm asking them to, if they can catty corner. Did you not get you didn't get my other email? Okay,
no?
so here, I went out and measured. The fence will be on the Bass Block
Okay,
in front of the restaurants, right on the street side. And then it's going to go down to beside Bardenay. The porta potties will be down there, and then the fence will wrap around to the other side. and go all the way down to the Bass Museum, to the Bass Center on that corner.
Okay, yeah, I understand this, but again, if we could get a drawing of this, our first in crews can look at this and go, oh, that's where things are.
When you say drawing, I don't know, I created that in Excel, so I'm kind of drawing, I can't make this. There's also a map I sent that yesterday.
I saw that too,
Yeah,
yes.
so I don't know what I'm kind of.
Did you see the last presentation, the
Yeah, I don't have that skill, so I have to find somebody to do it.
Well, okay, we could talk about this later, but we need something a little bit more detailed for our first in crews. But on Grove, are you going to be able to provide a 20-foot fire lane all the way through on Grove?
You should be able to, because the porta
Okay.
potties are on the side,
Okay.
and the only thing sitting in the center is the fence,
Okay,
because everything's on the sides. And the alleys are clear if they're open after with construction going on. The alleys should be clear as
Okay.
well.
yep. Yeah, that's another thing I was going to bring up. Keep those alleys clear and then the 20-foot fire lane on Grove. And keep Sixth as clear as you can. I know you're going to have a lot of things in there, but just try to do your best on keeping that a lane in there as well. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have. Again, it's just we can talk about it a little bit later, and I'll walk you through it. We'll work with you, and we'll make this happen. But we do need something a little bit more detailed.
Yes, I just have to ask somebody to do it
Okay.
because I have no clue.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Dwight, Boise Police, I'll get with you on the police staffing.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. Okay.
Okay, I'll email you, and Lieutenant Hill is on the Zoom meeting. He has a few questions.
Sure.
Hey, Beth, can you hear me? Beth, Lieutenant Hill here. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Lieutenant Hill.
Okay. So who's providing your security, and do you know the numbers that they're going to deploy down there for you?
Lieutenant Hill, you appear to be cutting in and out.
All right, I'll get with her offline then.
Maria, I will go ahead and work on the IT issue here for a moment, and then we can come back to Lieutenant Hill, see if we can get it resolved.
Yeah, that makes sense, Rachel.
Good morning. So just to kind of follow up with what police and fire have asked for is we are going to need that final footprint so we can work with you on that just to make sure that we have that, because anybody responding to your footprint's going to need to know how to maneuver. If it's helpful, we can get together with you and do a walkthrough of that area with each of the groups so that we can kind of visually see and have that kind of help us with the drawing and the setup that you're doing. So if that's helpful, please let us know and we can do that with you. Outside of just having that final footprint, just making sure that that schedule stays on track. If there's any changes, we just need to know, because that's going to help us be able to determine with those other overlapping events that when we're doing like the traffic control and stuff, we're not sending vehicles into somebody else's, closed down area.
Oh, understand.
Thank you.
We'll get with you offline. Lieutenant
Okay.
Hill's having some problems, so
You
we'll
think
get with
Zoom would be
you.
better by now, wouldn't you?
You would think, but yeah, we appreciate your patience and working through this. Obviously, it's a very challenging time for everybody. Having a year off from events, we're all a little bit rusty, but we're getting through it. So the city is growing, the city is changing, the event overlaps. We're doing the best that we can to accommodate everybody. And you can use crayons, markers, whatever you need to for your detailed map. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It just needs to have the details outlined so we can ensure that the city and the community and everybody are safe. So I didn't get any different emails from you. If the one that's on the screen is inaccurate, I can take that down and ensure that your
Yeah, it's not
updated
accurate.
copy
No.
gets out there. So anyway,
send it
if there's
over.
anything else that you do need, you can forward it to me and I'll ensure it gets onto the team and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Maria, I have an alibi. Beth, John Wasson, ACHD, looking at the traffic control plan in a little more detail. You do not show a road closure in the Bass block on the traffic control
I
plan
didn't
that I
catch that.
have.
Okay.
And it looks like Josh just took the traffic control plan from 19 and hasn't updated it. So he's going to need to
Yeah, we
To-
figured they would. Yeah.
update it with the proper dates, make sure that closure on Grove Street is included, coordinate with the Basque Museum over there, and then get this back to me as soon as possible.
I will. Thank you.
Really quickly, we also have Shane Anderson with parking on Zoom, so we'll give Shane an opportunity to speak as well. Shane, you're currently muted. There you go.
Okay. Can anybody hear me?
Go ahead.
We've already been in contact with Beth as far as the parking and stuff. So I'm good.
So Shane, I'm going to interrupt you really quick. We're still having Zoom issues. IT is working on those technical difficulties. If you want to send me a quick chat, I'm happy to relay any messages.
I will get it set your way.
It's the Zoom computer. Kick everyone on Zoom off.
So just to put on the record, so everybody can hear, it sounds like everybody that is on Zoom, you're all going to get kicked off here shortly. We're actually going to reboot that computer to try and solve some of our audio issues. So if you want to give us just a few minutes, we'll recess and then we will come back on and ask you to try to log on here in just another moment. Thank you.
We can finish up with Beth with parking, Downtown Boise Association, police. Do you want to do that like offline? That
Kelly, can you hear me?
I know.
Lieutenant Mike Hill, can you hear us and can you speak, please? Can you unmute your mic, please? Can somebody unmute their mic and talk to us?
This is Leslie with Valley Regional Transit. I can hear you.
Great, so we're back working. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, it looks like we're good to go. So let's reconvene. Just a reminder, and I think, is our Jack and Jill applicant on Zoom?
Yes, they are. I
Yes,
believe
our
they have 3 representatives.
Great, perfect. So just a reminder that our applicants will not be able to hear you if you don't use your mic. So please, everybody's been really good about it today, but just a little bit of a reminder. All right, let's go ahead now that we've gotten over a little bit of a technical snafu and move to the Jack and Jill half and full marathon.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Leanne. Can you guys hear me?
We sure can.
Okay, good. Do you want me to have my video on? Is it okay, or do you want it off? Does it matter?
I think on is great, and we'll see if Greg can switch over to have the Zoom on the actual computers versus the agenda. Greg?
And is it possible that I can share a screen so that I can show a few things that I need to show, map and the schedule of events?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay. Let me get to, hold on a second here. Let me just log, there we go. Can you all see this? Can you all see this?
We can. You might want to minimize your other windows because we can see all of your windows and just maximize the one you want us to look at.
There we go. Okay. Good morning. I'm Leanne. I'm the race director for the Jack and Jill Downhill Marathon for Boise. This is our second year that we've put on this event. And I'd also like to thank Kyle for being on. He's with Laurel's Legacy. They are our nonprofit charity that we donate a big portion of our proceeds to for this event. So I'm glad that he's here. Also, I have with us Billy from Idaho Traffic Control. She does have to leave in about 14 minutes. So if there's any questions that she needs to answer, she's on and available to answer some questions. She is on, right? Billy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go over the race schedule. This is what the race is October 15th, Saturday, October 15th. And the race will start at 8 o'clock in the morning. It starts up at the top of Bogus Basin. It ends at Ann Morrison Park, just behind Payette Brewing. On the day before, we have an agreement with Shoes, Idaho Running Company. We're all runners and participants. And right now we're looking at around 500 to 700 participants. Not that many. A lot of people are rolling over from the previous year, from 2020, that didn't happen. So we have a lot of people that are just rolling over to this year. But the race will start, the bib pickup, which is what we call the expo, will be at Shoes from 11 to 7. Every participant will receive in their swag bag, in addition to getting their shirt, they get a bag drop bag. They'll have information. We did this last year. This was actually last year's, and then we just changed the times since, oh, this is the wrong one. Hold on a second. Sorry, this is the wrong one. Give me one moment. Let me see if I can find it. I updated this and I think I sent it over. Anyway, let me just go over the new times and stuff. So the race is not Saturday, September 14th. The race is Saturday. The bid pickup is not Saturday, September 14th. Bid pickup is Friday, October 14th. And this basically gives all the runners times, bus times and everything. Let me just find, give me 1 second. Let me, the trifold. Anyway, Saturday, October 15th is the race date. It gives them information. Buses will be picking up not at 4:15, at 5:15 in the morning. We decided to change the time to 8 o'clock in the morning since the race is going to be starting in October and the sun doesn't come up until about 8 o'clock in the morning. So the half marathon bus will pick up from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6:20. The race starts at 8 a.m., not 6:30 in the morning. And then the finish line festivities will start at 8:30 to 2 p.m. The next age category awards will be mentioned at about 9:30. And then where it says 10:45 a.m., that has been changed to 11:45 a.m. And that's super important to know because at mile 17 on Bogus Basin, we will have vans waiting for anybody from mile 17 or earlier to pick them up and pull them off the course and then take them to the finish line, or Ann Morrison Park where they'll be able to finish if they need to.
Your screen is showing series.
Okay. And then at 2 o'clock, the race timing shuts down. So let's see here. Can you guys see? There we go. Okay. Then we do have a free beer that we're giving everybody at Pay It Brewing. I don't know if that's super important. And then the time limit over on the right-hand side has been changed from 10:45 to 11:45. I don't know why my updated trifold's not showing. This is the outside of the trifold. So I have the wrong one again. I'm sorry. I think I sent the correct one over to Kelly last night. It does say Saturday, October 15th, 2021. It shows our sponsors on the left-hand side. Like I said, all participants will be receiving that as well, an info folder. So everybody is on the same page and knows where they're going. The bus pickup location will look like this. So buses will be picking up. We have contracted buses with National Express Charter. And just so that you know that in everybody's swag bag that they get, we are providing what's called a neck gaiter or a face buff. So these can be worn to cover their faces. These can be worn in numerous different ways, but we've always provided them. And they just kind of come in handy so that when people get on the bus, they don't have an excuse that they don't have a face mask, because everybody will be required to wear a face mask or face covering on the bus, one that we provide or one that they bring on their own. So on River Street, you can see here where we are doing the half marathon bus pickup and then the full marathon bus pickup. Parking is in this parking lot here. And then the finish line ends along the green belt here, mile 26 and mile 13.1 finish right about this area right here. Then runners will walk over into the finish area, hang out here, get their medals, get their a packaged sandwich, prepackaged sandwich and a bottle of water. And then they'll head over to Pay It Brewing if they want their free beer. And then, as I mentioned, a list of festivities were mentioned. So I'm going to go over to the course map now, and this is our course map for the event. The marathon start will begin up at the top of Bogus Basin. Buses will leave. We have buses only going one direction. So we've chartered enough buses to just go one direction and then they come back down the hill. We've asked people and runners to not be driving up the hill to it just creates too much traffic. And so we didn't have a problem the first year in 2019 with people. I'm sure there might have been one or two, but everybody was pretty much followed direction that we had, which is also mentioned on that brochure that goes into their swag bags, that they're going to be picked up, the buses, and that they're not to be dropped off by car. So just so that we have buses going up that road, and then the last bus leaves, and when the last bus leaves and gets past this half marathon start. So that's why we kind of have the buses going up early, because we want to give them enough time to get to the top, drop everybody off, and then that last marathon bus will come down past 13.1. And usually by the time they get to about mile 18, the race starts. It should be right around 8 o'clock in the morning. And I think we're going to be waiting for a signal from the police or Ada County Sheriff, whoever is going to be monitoring this, to let us know that we can go ahead and start the race, that all of our ducks are in a row. Everybody's where they're positioned, where they need to be. Our security plan, we have Ada County Emergency Medical. I spoke with Stacy. I have her notarized document that I just sent over to her the other day. They will be positioned where you see this red cross. They'll be positioned there. All of our aid station workers, we have an aid station pamphlet that goes to every single aid station with phone numbers, emergency phone numbers, and numbers for each volunteer at every water station. And we realize that at some water stations, there's not very good cell service. So we are providing radios at every water station for each water station volunteer. And just so that you know, our water station volunteers will be informed that they're not handing water to runners, that they'll be with gloves, they'll be placing all the waters in 5-ounce cups. And then as the runners go by, and this worked really well at our last Jack and Jill event in Washington a couple weeks ago, and runners were perfectly fine with not being handed water. The water stations will be there with water on the tables, and they just pick up the water. This also alleviates too many volunteers at one spot, and it enables us to be to not have so many people packed at a water station, volunteers wise, and that the runners are going to be fine. And this event is about 1/10 the size as our Washington event, so it's going to run pretty well with maybe 2 volunteers at each water station doing Gatorade and water. At most of the water stations, some water stations only have water, but they'll usually have water and Gatorade all along the way. When I know that in 2019 we had some problems at Hill Street, and I'm going to let Billy talk about that. But we're going to have a flagger here at Hill Street that's going to make sure that those runners don't run past. The half marathon runners obviously get there before the full marathon runners. So this year we're making sure that they're there a few hours. Our flaggers are there a few hours early to make sure that they're directed down 32nd Street. And then of course we have Boise police directing traffic across, I want to say it is going down Main Street, and then which puts them up on the sidewalk, and then they go along the green belt, and then they finish obviously where I showed you for the last portion of the race. So we do have a community notification letter that's already been drawn up, and we're waiting to send that out. Typically, it's better to send those letters out 3 weeks in advance so that people don't forget. I think if we send them out too soon, people forget. So unless you want to direct us otherwise, we can send them out whenever you want us to send them out. We have all of our insurance in place. Alcohol, as far as alcohol goes, we're not really setting up any beer gardens at the finish line. People are just going to walk over into Payette Brewing to get a beer if that's what they want. And we've already got that set up with Payette Brewing. Also, trash and recycling. Our trash and recycling plan, we have a dumpster for each, trash and for recycling. Again, this is not a huge event, and we've 2 large dumpsters is plenty for trash, and then 1 for recycle. It worked really well 2 years ago, and we're going to use the same company. Obviously, Republic is who we're using. Medical plan, also so that you know, at our finish line, we have hired a private company called Medics on the Ball. They will be our medics at the finish line as well. There's always runners that come, across the finish line with usually things like blisters, sore muscles, or whatever. They usually have a chest full of ice and bags, but they're also CPR certified nurses, doctors. And we actually have one paramedic that travels with us. And so he will also be at the finish line too as well. I think I've covered most everything. I know I've probably forgot some stuff. Is there any questions, especially for Billy at this point? Because I know she has to be off of here in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Leanne. That was really comprehensive. I know we will have several more questions. It's another busy weekend. We've got several overlapping events. And as everybody's getting back into event season, we've had some things come up with marathons that we just want to make sure that we're covering all of our P's and Q's really, really well. So we'll start with John from ACHD.
Leanne, John Wasson, ACHD, would you please verify the date of the event?
Yeah, Saturday, October 15th.
Are you sure it's October 15th? I have Saturday as the 16th.
Sorry, Saturday, October 16th. You're right. Sorry, I didn't have the correct, I didn't have the amended brochure in front of me, and I was going, October 15th is bid pickup day, October 16th is race day.
Okay. That is a home football game, and I believe the time is to be announced. It's an Air Force game, so Air Force does tend to travel fairly well again. Who is managing law enforcement up for you guys in Boise County?
I talked to Sergeant Craig Durrell, and he said a couple of years ago, they'd be willing to direct traffic up there, but he said a couple of years ago that Boise police actually kind of took over their jurisdiction. So to be honest with you, I don't remember in 2019 who was up there. I do know that we did have Ada County Medical up there, but as far as directing traffic, I'm pretty sure that it was Boise police that decided to take over. But he said that he's totally fine with having a couple officers. He recommended maybe a couple between miles. I think he said that in the beginning is a different jurisdiction, and somewhere around mile 8, he said, is where it begins to be is it Boise County?
Correct.
Yeah. So he said that he would recommend, if we needed, we can have a couple officers. He would be fine with a couple officers there. But
the only reason I'm asking is I'm not going to get into law enforcement's bailiwick per se, but I'm not going to let the event start until all the law enforcement officers give a thumbs up and say, we have traffic control manned, in hand, and ready to go before the first runner starts past the start time or start line. That's got to happen. That was a failure 2 years ago and led to a lot of confusion, and we can't have that this year.
I
So
understand.
John, just to be clear, that's Boise County, City of Boise, and Garden City,
Ada County.
Ada County.
Yes, ma'am.
And Maria, if I may, I fielded a call this morning. Leanne, this is Rachel with Emergency Management. I fielded a call from Captain Durrell this morning, and we did chat about it. And what you will need to do is you will need to have 2 Ada County sheriff deputies contracted for that portion. And you will need to ensure that they have the traffic control plan for that portion that they can approve. They will then work with the rest of the LE in that area to ensure that communications are made prior to the race starting. You will still also need to contact Boise County Sheriff's Office and verify the plan with them as well, so that Ada County has permission to be in that area in response if needed.
Okay.
Because Boise County usually does not staff that area. The other thing you will need to make sure you do on that is you need to make sure you express your desire to close down the parking that you guys discussed along the roadside for that route with Ada and Boise County. They need to approve that.
Okay.
The other thing that was an issue 2 years ago was the pilot car. And that's always an issue. And we understand that Billy does a good job of getting a person out there with a vehicle. Notification is going to be absolutely critical to all of the homes, all of the properties that abut Bogus Basin Road, so that they can contact Billy and let her know that, hey, I'm going to need to leave in 5, 15, whatever the time frame is, so they can get in the queue for that pilot car, as opposed to having bidirectional traffic on the street while we have runners trying to come down the hill. And then as soon as Billy gets it, we'll need the traffic control plan, because we are rapidly approaching the good idea cutoff point.
Go ahead, Ed.
Hi, Leanne, this is Ed with Public Works.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, I just had a couple of questions. So as far as the course goes, what's your plan for providing trash boxes along there? And is it the volunteers that are going to be picking up and making sure everything gets cleaned up?
Yep, absolutely. So what we typically do is we provide 3 trash boxes. Well, for this event, since it's not that, we'll have 2 trash boxes at each water station. So as in front of each water station. So when I say in front of, I mean down the hill. So as runners grab a cup of water, they'll run with it, and then there'll be one trash box placed, and then another one placed further down the hill from where they're at. So and then we also provide rakes. We also provide first aid kits and everything necessary, gloves and things like that, cups and things like that at every water station. So yes, each volunteer station would be responsible for making sure that their aid station is cleaned up. I know they do the best that they possibly can. Our crew, we send a crew of 16 people to this event at all of our events. So our course crew has it down to a small science. They understand that sometimes they'll get to, these volunteers get really busy and they don't have time to clean everything up. These guys are really good about making sure that it's cleaner than it was when they got there. So if our volunteers get rushed and don't clean up, our crew does it.
Okay, thank you. And so, yeah, if you are still in need of the 50 trash boxes, I will email you a form that you'll need to fill out, and you'll actually coordinate that with Conrad here with Republic Services.
Okay, perfect.
But then also, I noticed on your application, you put plastic bottles as recyclable. Do you know, I'm just curious what brand you're going to be purchasing? Because that would definitely limit you on if it's recyclable or not.
Yeah, typically it's through Kirkland. So it's Costco. So we get the Costco cases of water. They're the cheapest. So
yeah, okay. I'd have to double check, but I'm fairly certain that those actually would not, they wouldn't be recyclable in our local system.
Okay.
So just having said that, we can work offline, but we'll probably adjust the amount of recycle bins, because honestly, I don't know what you'll have that really would be recyclable for this event.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, we can work with you on, yeah, go ahead.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I know that we don't obviously recycle the cups. The cups are paper cups that are lined with wax on the outside, and we've been told those are not recyclable, so we just put those in the trash.
Correct.
But water bottles we've always recycled, but if you're saying that they're not recyclable, then we can certainly just do a dumpster, because then there really wouldn't be anything that would be recyclable that I can think of, other than maybe some boxes that we might have that for shirt boxes or whatever. But that would really be the only thing that would be recyclable now that I think about it, other than the water bottles. But if the water bottles aren't, then we can always put those in the trash.
Yeah, I'll double check on those Costco or Kirkland water bottles. But yeah, definitely any kind of flyers or cardboard for sure. That will definitely be recyclable. And then also, so at Payette, I understand that if they want a beer, they're going to get it inside Payette.
Right.
And then the prepackaged sandwiches. So I'm assuming Payette is going to take care of their own trash or recycling receptacles on site to handle all that waste.
Yes, so they'll take care of that. As far as, but just going back to the packaged sandwiches, what we usually get runners is we get these also from Costco. They're prepackaged peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then boxes of chocolate milk. I know it sounds weird, but runners love it. Chocolate milk and peanut butter jelly sandwiches and bananas are typically what we have at the finish line. So in the past, we've made things like pasta, and we've gotten homemade stuff, but due to our current circumstances, we just have to make sure that everything is prepackaged.
Okay. No, that sounds great. Again, I was just making sure that Payette is going to be handling that.
Yeah, they'll be handling their own trash. They did a few years ago too.
Okay. That's all I have. We'll be in contact on email to get some things squared away, but thank you.
Great.
Hi, Leanne. This is Conrad with Republic Services.
Hi, Conrad.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for the phone conversation we had a couple weeks ago. I think we got a lot of the details straightened out there. I just wanted to follow up on some of the things I mentioned over the phone. One being permission from Payette Brewing that you are allowed to bring extra dumpsters and put those in their parking lot.
Yes, they give us permission, and they've given us permission and their blessing to put the trash bins in 2 of the parking spots.
Yeah, and I remember that not being a problem 2 years ago, but if I could just see it in writing,
Yep.
that would make me feel better.
Okay,
And have you placed that order yet?
I did.
Okay, I haven't checked myself, but
Okay.
that's good. That's really all I have. Thank you.
This is Joe from the Health Department. If you guys are just doing peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and chocolate milk, if you're not going to have any other vendors, we just need you to submit a temporary event application to us.
Okay.
And then we'll call to verify everything you have on there. That
Yeah.
can be found on our website.
We had someone that was inquiring but haven't heard back, so we're probably not going to have any vendors there. If we do, the one vendor that we had that was inquiring that we haven't heard back from, I don't know if we're going to hear back from them or not, but they had a food truck that they wanted to bring and park it there. If they decide that they want to do that, is that something that we need to notify you about?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we'll just verify that they're good to go.
Okay. Okay.
And that's it from us.
This is Sydney with Risk Management. I got your insurance yesterday, so we're good to go on our end.
Awesome.
We have your reservation and you guys are doing just fine. Parks Department is good.
Thanks, Emma.
And this is Jesse with Boise Fire. You're just having is it 5 10x10 tents at the finish line?
That's it.
Okay, yeah, so no permit is needed for that. And then just the food truck, make sure that I can send you a document. They have to have a fire inspection before
Okay.
they're permitted to operate. So I can send that to you. But that's it. Thank you.
Great.
This is Dwight, Boise Police. I will get with you about the police contract
Okay.
and make sure we're on the same page with staffing.
Perfect.
And I believe Sergeant Konvalinka is on the call. Do you have any questions, Sergeant?
Correct. Yes, I am. So I just want to confirm that you're going to be contacting or in contact with Ada County just to confirm with them their assistance for north of the city limits. I won't have any authority north of the city limits because we do not have an MOU to work that. I think last time we did the race, we did go up there because there was some issue and I can't remember exactly what it was, but we will need to have Ada County on board and I'll need to speak with whichever contact you have there to make sure that we have that covered. I also do need to see the traffic control plan as soon as possible. If I remember correctly, the only stationary spot that we have motor officer stationed is at State. So for the rest of the course, they're roving over the course. So there's no we don't use the motors for stationary spots other than State Street, along with their traffic control. And the only other thing I would add there is, we've had issues before, and John can attest to this. When the race starts, the start time, the traffic control needs to be in place when the race starts, even if it's, top of Ovis Hill. If it starts at 8, traffic control for the whole course needs to be set in place at that time. Okay. And that's all I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the two issues that we need to resolve, one was obviously on Hill Street at 32nd Street, and then also the race start and just being able to get notified, getting an okay. We do that with our race in San Diego. We wait for police to say, okay, runners can go. So I just need to know who that person is that's going to contact me and make sure that I have cell service or if that person has a radio that can let me know when we can let people go.
Yep, and we can work with you on the day of the race. You'll know beforehand who your point of contact will be and who will be giving that okay to start the race. So that won't be an issue.
Perfect. Okay.
And that's all I have.
Hi, Leanne. It's Rachel with Emergency Management. So just want to say thank you. I know we've had several conversations going on, but what we really need to do is get the safety and security people back together to go through all of this. And very similar to what we've done in the past. And then we can pull together the final plan for what the staffing is going to look like, how that communication is going to flow, and who's responsible for what areas. So I'll go ahead and schedule that for the team here in the near future, but we will need finalized traffic plan, finalized understanding of what that staffing is going to look like before we meet. I will invite Ada County and Boise County to that meeting, but you need to be in contact with them ahead of time to ensure that the resources are going to be accounted for and those expectations are clear. Then we'll be able to run with how we're going to communicate with them throughout the entirety of the course.
Okay.
How many runners do you have signed up right now?
Right now we have about 700. There's always like a 10 to 15% no-show. We've been noticing races this year have a higher no-show. A lot of times it's because people aren't ready, honestly, or haven't been ready during this last year. I don't know why they haven't been ready, but it just seems to be that seems to be the case, or people want to roll over to another year. So we're probably right now we're at 700. Maybe by race day we'll be registered at about 900, which means we'll have about 500 to 700.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. As we have learned, especially in the Bogus Basin area, weather can be kind of temperamental. So please have a plan in place for how you might manage that. We know marathoners are going to run in anything, but you could have additional injuries due to rain or other things on that course. So I see Linda's on as well. So I'm going to pass it to her because I was just about to ask about medical. But I'll just wrap it up with Leanne saying that I will be in contact with you with the safety and security meeting.
Thanks,
So
Rachel.
Are you guys ready for me?
Yeah, Linda, that'd be great.
Perfect. Thank you. Linda Scopoleta, Ada County Paramedics. Leanne, I just spoke with the state of Idaho and with your medics on the ball .com that you've registered and have coming to work in the state of Idaho. They are going to need to have, excuse me, licensure in the state of Idaho to be able to work outside of anything other than first aid. So as long as they have that paperwork and that certification and licensure, they should be able to take care of that. Otherwise, we're going to need to find a different group to work with as well. And I think we can deal with that at the safety and security briefing, and I'll email you offline and we can discuss it some more as well. Stacy, I spoke with our office and that she says that contract is coming through for us for the course coming down from Bogus Basin and coming from Boise County to Ada County. So we'll finalize and work out those plans as well as a communications plan to be able to get everybody where we need them to be at the safety and security briefing.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
I do know that medics on the ball typically hire people within the local area. They don't usually, we have one person that has requested to travel with us. He's actually licensed out of Washington. I don't know if he is out of Boise. I can double check, but typically what they do is they usually hire local people to do first aid, and that's really all they will be doing at the finish line.
Okay, yeah, as long as they're, to be licensed, to be able to practice EMT, even basic through advanced, and to be able to do any of those things, they're going to need to be licensed in the state of Idaho. There is a compact that they have in place with Utah as well, but Medics on the Ball would need to have medical control and a doctor who's able to practice in the state of Idaho under that span to be able to do anything outside of first aid only.
Got it. Okay.
Hi, Leanne, it's Kelly with the city clerk's office.
Hi, Kelly.
I did get your documents and updated information that you sent, but because it was sent last night at midnight, I wasn't able to upload it this morning, so I do apologize, but I will ensure to get that information passed on to the team so they do have current documents and information, and if anything else is needed, I'll get back to you. I know that we've talked a couple of times this summer, and I was really hoping to have the finalized traffic control plan by this meeting, which meant that Billy, submitted it prior, John marked it up to his liking, police reviewed it for safety and et cetera, just because of some issues in the past, but then also because we do have a very, very busy event season. So it's not once we get it, we can turn it around in 24 hours. So we'll need some time to process that as well. I know that John and police have expressed the need to get that sooner rather than later. I know that Billy is very busy, as she mentioned on the phone the other day, that it's August and this isn't until October. So it wasn't really on her radar, but we do need that in place as soon as possible so we can have time to review it and ensure it's going to be safe and sufficient for everybody here in the community, recreation, and then your patrons, of course. So if there's anything else you need, just continue to keep in touch. I appreciate you addressing all the concerns and everything that we've had, and just working with us to bring this event back to Boise, and look forward to working with you in the next couple of weeks to get it all tied up.
Definitely. Is it possible that maybe we can schedule that event after Billy does what she needs to do to make any changes or updates to the traffic control plan? And then what we can do is we can get that before we meet with Ada County, Boise County, and all the powers that be with traffic control. Should that be the order that we do that in? Once she can get that over to us, because she was really busy. She does have the original traffic control plan, but I think she needed to update some stuff on it before. And once she does, and we can figure out what date that is, that we can maybe arrange it around when she gets that done, our next meeting.
Okay. If you get it to me, I will get it to everyone on the team, and then they can decide from there how to tackle the adjustments, issues, and communication.
Okay.
Thank you.
Maria, also online, we have Lieutenant Hill. Lieutenant Hill, do you have anything that you would like to add?
I do not have anything. Sergeant Convalinka covered it all. We'll just look for a traffic plan and make sure we work out the kinks that we discovered in 2019.
Excellent. Thank you. Leslie from VRT, do you have anything that you would like to add?
I'll just need to know that traffic control plan so we know where we have to detour buses.
Thank you. And then we also have Shane Anderson with Boise City Parking online. Shane, any comments?
The only one that I really have is just the copy of the notification. It gets to Kelly, so we have it on file.
Thank you. I have nobody else online and I have no additional comments. Thanks, Maria.
Great. Thanks so much, Leanne. And just, we should talk about this on the record just a little bit. I know that folks are going to start hearing us talk even more and more and more increasingly in detail about traffic control plans, getting them early, make sure they're signed off on by everyone. Boise and the Valley, no surprise to anyone, is growing really, really rapidly. And we have a lot of demands on the services to make sure that the events that we are having in our communities are safe, for everyone to participate in and that they don't overburden the capacity that we have. So I would just, as a note to any of our special events applicants, you should anticipate that we will continue to drill in on that, be pretty prescriptive about it, and pretty firm about what we're expecting to see in traffic control plans before we can sign off on events. And then in addition to that, we expect that the arrangements that we make in advance of events when it comes to traffic control plans and the other services that need to be provided to ensure the safety of our community are followed. So when we see events not stick to the plans that have been approved, that causes us a great deal of anxiety and concern and may potentially impact our ability to approve future events when they come back to the community. So Leanne, we'll look forward to working that out with you and then anticipate that those plans are followed to a T on race day itself. So if you can get what Kelly needs, she can get it around to the crew and we can have a couple of follow-up meetings and we'll look forward to having a really successful race.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys, we have 3 pending approvals: Boise Hemp Fest, Albertsons Boise Open, and the Fröken Beer Festival. Does anyone have anything they need to chat about at this meeting? No? John, you look like you're about to say something very wise.
Not for these events. However, there was a notification that just came out 5 or 10 minutes ago. Organizers of Tree Fort have announced an update for the upcoming music festival set for September 22 to 26. Anybody attending Tree Fort 9 will be required to show a negative COVID-19 test result or proof of vaccination before entering. Now, they are saying they're going to give vaccinations at the event, and Linda may be able to correct me, but giving a vaccination the day of the event is not the same thing as being vaccinated and cleared.
It is not.
So we are now seeing events that are requiring COVID testing and verification, and I don't foresee that this will be the only one that comes down the pike.
Thanks for that update, John. I would say, I think from the city's perspective, it's really encouraging to see events choose to make choices like that to protect the health and safety of our community and to make sure that the event goes off really smoothly. I methat's the kind of personal responsibility that we all have to dig deep into to combat this. So big thanks to Tree Fort for that.
That's absolutely true, but it will lead to delays in getting people into the venues. And so we can expect people to be lining up, trying to get into the venues and showing proof or arguing that they don't need it or whatever people do when they go to these doggone things.
It's a very good flag. Thank you.
Maria, I have a couple on the ones on the agenda, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Hemp Fest, we are still waiting on getting that final plan from them and understanding what the staffing is going to look like because they were adding that beer garden. So that's kind of what we're waiting on the emergency management side. And then for Albertsons Open, we're currently working through what that staffing is going to look like with the schedule. So we'll be following up with PD and fire on that. And then we do have a walkthrough on Saturday with their security team.
Hey, Rachel, with regard to PD staffing for the Albertsons Open, I've got it fully staffed. The sergeants that will be running the teams in the footprint for the 3 major concerts will be at the security and safety meeting on Saturday. So from a BPD standpoint, unless Sergeant Kompolin has something to add, we are good to go.
Awesome, thank you. And we did get a dispatch channel reserved for you guys. So we'll just want to make sure that gets communicated out to everybody.
All right. Any other
Rachel?
questions?
Yeah, sorry. This is Linda Scopoletti, 80 County Paramedics. For the Albertsons Boise Open, can we have an invite to that walkthrough as well. We will have staff on scene and I can get together to make sure that we're part of that comms plan.
Absolutely. I'll send that over.
Thank you.
Right. Kelly, no, after action reports.
Whoops, I apologize there. And just any from July will be due at the end of August. So 4th of July celebration and Twilight Criterium.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I didn't see it on the list. I was like, does summer get off the hook not having to do an after action report? That doesn't seem right. All right. Anything else before we adjourn for the day?
I was just going to say, as far as the calendar update, I will get one sent out this afternoon rather than rattle off, but it definitely is go time. This weekend, August 14th is the first kind of big official festival that kicks off probably the next 8 to 10 Saturdays of fun and a little bit of chaos and a little bit of crazy, but we're getting through it. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in a couple weeks.